faces here. I feel like I'm in Greg's kitchen. I think some of you have probably been at his parties, yes?
We're his mom.
You are his fluff. I'm David, and I have been asked to introduce Mr. Eisenberg. And he's putting his hand up to his ear like, speak louder! Okay. I've known Greg for quite a long time. And I've seen him grow and develop into a fabulously creative artist, writer, musician, and I'm probably forgetting about half a dozen other things, really. Amazingly what's that?
Painter.
Painter, yes! A painter. Very prolific, very creative man. You may know him as a comedian, but I know him as a writer of poetry, a writer of songs, and now a writer of humor. He seems to be committed to the life of a writer, but don't be fooled. As you know, some of you know, he also throws great parties, he loves to cook, and he loves to explore ideas. When you talk to Greg, a lot of the time, it is more than just a casual conversation. He is always listening to what you are saying and workshopping ideas. So be careful what you say to Greg. It might become material on his show. He says he can remember 2 ideas in the back of his mind, but when he gets to 3, he needs to stop and write them down. So that's why he carries a notepad around. His book has done very well. It was, for a while, #2 in the comedy section on Amazon after Trevor Noah's book, Born a Crime.
Wow.
It's been called the one book about non-attachment you must have in your possession. It's been called Crazy Wisdom That Keeps You Sane. It's everything you'll need to know about futility in a single paperback. He has also produced 8 or 9 albums of original music. And I understand they're being posted on major streaming services as we speak. And you have a songbook as well, yes, that's about to be published, I think. And a new illustrated children's book coming out called The Butterfly of Happiness. Please welcome to the podium, Mr. G.E. Generally Electric, Greg Eisenberg!
Thank you, David. I didn't know you felt that way. Welcome to Chop Wood, Carry Water, Charge Phone. Everybody charged?
Oh, we better turn them on.
Turn them off, turn them on. There you go. Thank you all for coming. I know parking in downtown Boulder on a Friday night is challenging. But you know, if you think about it, so is jumping out of the trees and standing upright in East Africa during the Neolithic. So, but if they could do it, so can you. So give yourselves a big round of applause. I'm really sorry the show is starting 10 minutes late. But to make it up to you and to show that I value your time, I'll knock 15 minutes off the end of the show for free. No questions asked. This is my first time doing this particular talk outside of Louisville, actually. So it's actually my first time doing it outside a strip club. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I want to ask, before I even get started, you're going to get to know me a little bit. I'm going to get to know you. That's going to be part of the fun. How many of you have either read or thumbed through my book a little bit to either know you get me or no, you don't get me? Show of hands. Oh, good. That's a few. That's a few. So some of you are going to figure out what's going on here soon. How many of you have seen the science comedy show I do at the planetarium? Oh, wow, a lot of you. Wow, that's amazing. You've been there, Rowan? I didn't know that. Yeah. I should remember that. I have a good memory. It's called Even the Earth is Bipolar. I'm doing it again on December 10th, by the way. How many of you are here at the museum for the first time tonight? Raise them high. I want them to see. Woo! Yeah, welcome.
Yeah,
You
good
came
job.
to a new place. That's big, man. That's what we're looking for. That's kind of what the show is about. And how many of you are already kind of regretting your decision? 2. All right, I can live with that. And those are like my closest friends. So, that's how it is, though. Friends are forever. Because stand-up philosophers are different than stand-up comedians. And we're both trying to get you to laugh and open up your mind. But stand-up philosophers go even further. We're trying to change the way you think. And my book makes that proposition and that promise right on the front cover, mind-altering jokes. So we'll see if I succeed. The poet Rudyard Kipling once said, "Words are the most powerful drugs used by mankind." I don't know if that's still true today. But if we take him at his word, I am, for all intents and purposes, gonna try to drug you tonight. Seriously, with words. Kayla, I think we probably should have put that in the program description. Now, Immanuel Kant, the German philosopher, once wrote, "Out of the crooked timber of which man is made, no straight thing has ever been fashioned." Isn't that nice? Out of the crooked timber of which man is made, no straight thing has ever been fashioned. By straight, I assume he meant truthful, logical, having inner consistency. By crooked, I assume he meant contradictory, paradoxical, even deceptive, capable of being twisted into knots. When he made that observation about human nature in 1759, it was just a theory. And tonight, based on my own personal self-observations, I'm going to prove it's true. I think that's the point of my book. Gracias por la ayuda. That's why we say it's for people in no shape for the human condition. I can't help but succeed. It's just gonna be easy. But I don't want this talk to be just about me, though I offer myself hesitantly as an example. I really want it to be more about you. I'm not sure I'm going to pull that off yet, but we'll figure it out as we go. Actually, everything is about you, sweetheart. You know that. Why should tonight be different? Oscar Wilde was correct. He said, if you want to tell people the truth, especially about themselves, you better make them laugh at the same time. Otherwise, they'll kill you. Yeah, he was correct about that. He made many people laugh, and the medicine didn't go down that well. And his life did not end well. And I hope the material in my book, the Laugherisms, that I call the Eisenberg Principles, a few of which I am going to share tonight, are a gentle form of medicine for you good, kind, sweet, very crooked people. I agree with the physicist Richard Feynman, who said, the first principle is you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person for you to fool. We do it all the time. Mark Twain similarly said, I think you all know this one, it's easier to fool a person the first time than to convince him later he's already been fooled. And unfortunately for me, I'm about to try to convince you of that. But I hope I don't end up like Oscar Wilde or Socrates, who also perished for trying to convince people of the very same thing. Finally, I just want to share one more quote, just to set the mood. And this one is from Carl Jung that speaks to the same idea. He said, show me a sane man, and I will cure him for you. That's my goal with this book and with this talk. David, thanks for watching the back door. Jonathan, thank you for watching the side door. Kayla, thanks for putting this in a secure room. If this is the hour I get attacked by the mob, like Aristotle or Socrates or like Pythagoras a couple centuries before them, then let it be. I'll be a good company. Now, if I may read a few selections from my book, from chapter 1, take my advice and think for yourself. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do," a thought I often ponder on my way to the bathroom. Yeah, that's funny. We were practicing Zen when the identity theft happened, which is why they didn't really get much. I can verify with 100% certainty that I don't have a clue what I'm talking about. It's my most important joke. I always follow my instincts, except when I get a funny feeling maybe I shouldn't. It's called neurosis. I like to learn from all people, but especially those who agree with me. Life may be very hard and very lonely, but at least we're all living longer these days. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I love that you're such a free spirit, and I want you to be mine forever. Oh, the laugh of recognition. Like I said, this is about you. The people who say you create your reality with your thoughts sure are hard to get away from at parties. Are you going like, I don't understand? Oh, you're... Sorry, that's weird, yeah. Haven't seen you in a while. In my quest to conquer obsessive compulsive disorder, I left no stone unturned. And I succeeded. I was not going to lose that battle. I am totally irreverent, but only out of a sense of deep respect for everything that's sacred. I thought I was making something out of life. Then I thought life was making something out of me. Now I'm hoping for either. It's good to see you guys. I'm glad you made it in. I was worried about you. I'm glad I don't have to do the show again at midnight. You know where. When I want to know what I think about something, what my thoughts are about something, I often try to write a joke about it, because it forces me to look at an issue or an idea or a word from all angles, from above, from below, from off to the side. Like the first filter might be, what's the most obvious thing people say about it? What's the second most obvious thing people say about it? What if you turn it outside and make it ironically refer back to itself, kind of like a Mobius strip? Sometimes I feel like a balloon man on a mall. I'm taking something straight and twisting it into a complex object. Except the objects I'm trying to create are more like paradoxical Max Escher drawings than a simple swan or a duck. In the biz, they're called impossible objects. Things that look coherent at first, but upon closer scrutiny, cannot exist. They don't make sense. They're staircases that go up, that can't go up, but they somehow do. There are paradoxes embedded in the objects.
Paradoxes.
I take it back. I like this. Okay. somebody leaning against the wall? No.
Well, the best thing about it is if the electricity is out, then the AC will have gone off.
Yeah, that's a good
They're all
thing.
starting to freeze in
That's
there.
right.
I like this.
Turn off the AC. Talking, Greg.
That was good, man.
All right.
Let me see what jokes I have about electricity. Well, I'm trying to do the same thing that Max Usher was doing with my laugherisms. We're trying to play with your mind. But why do we do these things? Why are we fascinated with these mind games? Well, oh no, I'm good. I can see. I'm great. I got this whole thing memorized. I don't need this. Okay. Ludwig Wittgenstein, the famous Austrian linguist. That ended too soon, I think. That was,
Yeah,
I was
that
going to work with
was
that.
kind of fun.
That was giving me something to work with.
Yeah.
That's like, wow, free. He's my second favorite Ludwig after Van Beethoven. And he answered that question. He said, an entire treatise of philosophy could be written that consists entirely of jokes. Osho almost said the same thing. He said, the only thing you should take seriously in life are the jokes. I'm pretty sure his 36 limousines were a close second.
100,
I don't know, maybe the other way around. But I wrote these jokes in
Rolls
pursuit of
Royces.
knowledge. I developed this compendium of contradictions in pursuit of putting the pieces together, or at least laying them out on the table. Let's see what exactly we're working with here. Let's take a little inventory of what's going on in the cabeza. Now, as a writer, you don't always have to know what something means to feel it means something, and you hope it will all tie together later. Have I succeeded in doing that here? I would say provisionally, no. But, you like that? But hopefully, actually I don't believe that, but hopefully I will succeed in what the Mexican poet Cesar Cruz says all art and writing should do. Comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to find out tonight by going through this material and watching your reactions who in this room is comfortable and who is disturbed. Laughs of recognition. We know who you are already. I'll read a little bit from chapter 2. Real space has curves. I'm feeling fine, which is just a rough average between ecstatic and devastated. Laugh of recognition? Yeah. I feel for you. I started a party on Wednesday last week just to take a little pressure off the weekend. God only knows if I'll use my free will this time. Some religious people here tonight. Once I made peace with the irony in life, everything else became harder to bear. Yeah? When I first set off down the road of modesty, I had no idea I would take it so far. I was truly saddened to share the news of your misfortune with all of my friends. Gotcha, we gotcha, we're taking notes. You've got to know how to argue both sides of an argument. There's no two ways about it. I feel very sorry for anyone who gets between me and a more gentle way of living. I'm clearly headed straight towards having no direction in life. Little recognition. How you doing? Yeah, direction is hard to come by. I'm grieving this whole month over how much time I spent being preoccupied with loss. My name is Greg Eisenberg. I grew up in a very quiet, peaceful, idyllic suburban neighborhood where I drove around blasting "This Is the End" by the Doors at full volume in my mom's Chevy Chevette. I was voted out of the National Honor Society 2 years in a row in high school, despite having an almost perfect grade point average. I think because my English teacher suspected I was dealing drugs. Oh, if she could only see me now. And Rudyard Kipling. You guys getting buzzed, by the way? You starting to feel the buzz? Yeah. The dean of my high school wrote me a hall pass so I could come late to school every day my entire senior year in high school. Well into first period with no questions asked. I have no idea why. I don't remember ever talking to him. Maybe he knew sleep is my religion. Maybe it was a First Amendment kind of thing. I've lived in the Boulder area for a couple decades now. I got my bachelor's degree in California in psychology. I got my master's in Boston in mental illness. I used to be very heavy into Tibetan Buddhism and Tibetan scriptures. But lately I've become more fascinated with Mongolian barbecue and Chinese. I take a Judeo-Buddhist approach to wisdom. I do. From the Buddhist tradition, I take that life is suffering, and the way to liberate yourself from suffering is by following the Buddha's noble eightfold path, right? Which I'm going to talk about later. From the Jewish tradition, I also take that life is by nature suffering, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. In fact, it's only going to get worse. It's a lot to try to integrate. That's why I'm fairly confused. I consider myself more of a stand-up humorist than a stand-up comedian. As I said, George Burns once said, "A comedian only makes you laugh, but a humorist makes you laugh and think." And tonight, I'm obviously trying to make you do all three. Now, some of you know.
Yeah, I know.
What?
She got